good morning. 안녕하세요. Ohayo gozaimasu. Sawadee ka. Ang challenging ng forum na to, five talaga. No? But anyway, thank you for coming today. So we have very limited time, so it's better to allot that for the major portion of our forum today. So welcome to K-Culture Forum entitled Asian Cultural Crossroads, and we'll understand later why this is our topic. Okay, without further ado, I'll be calling our director from UP Career Research Center to introduce us to their center and what's gonna happen today. I'll be explaining after that. Let's give a hand to Director Kyung Min.
안녕하세요. magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Konnichiwa. Sawadika. I'm also very new to Japanese and Thai, so I think it will be a learning experience for us, everyone today. But first of all, let us also welcome the chairperson of Department of Linguistics, Dr. Tina Gallego, because this event was possible with help and thanks to everyone from the department. And then later, I will slightly join, but today we really have two speakers who will share their knowledge and insights about their own culture and the language education. Since we have some Korean, Japanese, Thai learning Filipino students today, so after we have some forum, if you have questions, please feel free to ask so we can gain some more insights from everyone today. 감사합니다. Salamat po.
Okay, so you might be wondering why Thai and Japanese, and this is actually UP Korea Research Center heading this. There's the K in all of this, but in case you're wondering, so ever since K Culture Forum started, they've been already exploring how Korean culture has been and language has been and all the other pathways also no, of learning that we've been having in terms of contact with Korea, which is a lot like K-drama, K-pop, and everything else that you've encountered already in the Korea Research Center, probably because they're super masipag, no? They have so many forum. But this time, they wanted to really expand. So I think later we'll be understanding why also, because there will be as we will listen to our speakers, we'll see also the connections as to the similarities of how Filipinos are also connecting with other languages in terms of learning a foreign language, Asian language in particular, Japanese and Thai, and what we can learn also with the intersection of Korea, Japanese, and Thai, and also Filipino, of course. I also teach just basic Korean and Filipino to foreigners, so I can really relate with how culture is very important in language education and how in the global platform, like how all these are also playing in the ground of the Filipino learners. Okay, so this is how we'll go through our program today. I'll introduce our speakers first, and then they'll be presenting a bit about what they are doing and how they have been teaching also their language to Filipinos and probably also how it has been also carried out in other regions and countries. And after which we'll have a discussion. And if we have time, hopefully we have for some questions, so please take note of them. If not, hopefully we can send them also to our speaker so we can continue the communication even beyond this forum. Okay, our first speaker, um, yeah, I practice this. Dr. Quetzala Atapanyawit Kanilaw. Or Bam Toy. Proof Toy. We can call her Proof Toy, right? Yes. Who we can say or Sonsenin. She's an assistant professorial fellow at the Department of Linguistics here in UP. She earned her PhD in linguistics at Research Institute for Languages and Cultures of Asia, Mahidol University, Thailand. She's currently working on standard 5-tone production of Filipino speakers. So that study aims to find practical methods and tools for guiding learners to produce and apply 5 distinctive tones communicatively. So hopefully I can also try to learn Thai. I've been very curious also about this. Our next speaker, please give a hand to Ma'am Poy. You can, because her name is super new, you can call her Kupoy or Ma'am. Our next speaker is from Japan Foundation Manila. She is Miss Yuko Fujimitsu or Yuko Sensei. She's a mobile Japan language education advisor of Japan Foundation. She has been exploring the possibilities of language education for more than 30 years. So her experience is not really very new, but quite so long. Ma'am Yuko has been involved in diverse professional learning communities of language educators globally while serving as a mobile Japanese language education advisor. Ma'am Yuko continues to draw inspiration from her transnational network. So are you excited to hear from them today? Ang baba ng energy. Are you excited, guys? Yes. Mamaya makapag-flash yung ikaw na dyan. Okay, let's welcome Ma'am Poy for her presentation.
Konnichiwa. After sa mga tiring ko also, right? Kasi yung sa inyo lahat. Post-fish like Filipino been doing post-fish. Okay, sawadi ka,ทุกคนmagandang hapon sa inyo lahat. Okay, so what I'm gonna present, actually, it's from my class. I feel so thankful to my students who really share a lot of pop culture because I'm according to my generation, what I share in classes usually the folk, all about the folk and traditional culture, the one that we really practice in Thailand. So a lot of part that I'm gonna present is from my students. So thank you for you guys to share this with me. So first of all, when we talk about the culture in Thailand is big. It's big. But the thing is, it's impossible if we talk about culture and we don't talk about the king. Because all the kings, since the past until present, they've been the one who maintain to or preserve our traditional folk cultures. But when the time passed by, the king themselves are also got soft culture, soft powers or pop cultures. So the first page is about the king Bhumibol he's the king Rama the Ninth who passed 2014, how many years ago. I like to talk about King Bhumibol because today is his birthday. Today is his birthday, and it's very important day for us until now, even for us, because today also a Father Day, the Thai Father's Day for us, because as you know King Bhumibol, I believe you know him, and for Thai people, he's like our dad, our father, what we do. Taking care of his people. So we call him father also. Also, today is a Thai National Day of Kingdom of Thailand. So that's why I really need to mention when we talk about song, for me, this is new for me actually. The student is the one who mentioned it, or my friends in Thailand be talking about it. Soft power in Thailand, in Thailand now is really been discussed a lot. What is that? For me, pop cultures or soft power is there long time ago. Long time ago. Our King Bhumibol, um, he is the one who reigned the country with the soft power. That's why Thai people love him. Uh, that's number one. He take care of his people. He used soft power to take care of us. Number two, he is the idol. He is the idol that us Thai people follow until now. Until now. One of the project on philosophy that he built and then we still follow until now is the philosophy of sufficiency economy and a policy making about the use what we have in the country, maximize what we have, and make sure that everyone in the country have enough, have food, be happy. That's key. Um, this picture is I showed this. Last week I opened my language long time ago. I got this book from the embassy. It's the 60th anniversary between Thailand and Philippines diplomacy relationship. And I think this is the President Magabaga in that time, 1963, long time ago. Right? So that's the first visit of the king and the queen here in the Philippines. You know what? I really found from this book um, that he been here in UP. Two of them. They've been here in UP. Why? Because that time the president of UP um, reward him with a diploma. So he went here in July 1963 to join the graduation ceremony. So he got the diploma that time. And we've been here around 10 days. And after that, royal family been coming until lately even the granddaughters she's good at sport, so she's been here once the Philippines organized Asian game or Olympic Asian game that Thailand and Philippines been friends for next. I like to mention a bit about my time, a bit old. Maybe many of you don't know this. Oh, sorry. So this is my time when I grown up in Thailand. Of course, I moved here when I was married. That time I was 34 already. So when I grown up in Thailand, this is actually I mentioned at the beginning, pop culture is there for a long time. And but the difference is that time is air broadcast, okay, air broadcast, and the government and the channel is the one who do the broadcast for us, like set the time. And usually, K-pop or J-pop will show every weekend. So as a kid, we grown up, wake up early, not wake up early during the weekday to school, but wake up early during the weekend to watch cartoon, okay, and drama. That time, my parents they really love um, J drama, okay, J drama. I don't know you know Ochin. This is Thai pronunciation and Ochin, Ochin. Yes. I also watch with my mom. So drama, so nice.
So it's really live, really nice plot, really nice plot. Fight for her life, struggle but fight, really fight for her life. I like this poetry. Even that time, I'm still too young to really watch this type of drama. Why? Because the main character looks like my mom. It's true. If you hear the main character looks like my mom exactly when she's young. So this is poetry, okay? And then that my mom and then I follow what she watched. Now this is my time. So I my time, what my favorite cartoon, okay, is Doraemon. This is what my son always asks me. Man, what's your favorite cartoon when you were young? We've been asking. So what I said is, oh, this is Thai pronunciation. Okay, we say Doraemon. Doraemon. What? Okay. Yes. Also, Ikkyu-san. Ikkyu-san, yes. I watch this too every weekend. Woke up early. Uh, Another one is Shin-chan, but this one is for my sister, not for me. But yeah, I also joy them watching. We have a lot of cartoon books, also not only the podcast. We read a lot of cartoon, J-pop. Yeah. Then that time in Thailand we start with J-pop before the film. J-pop first before the film. Also, we watch this. Um, uh, I'm not sure I remember this one, but we call in Thai we call most band in the red group, the red ant group, fighting, and then I like the one that have five, and then one of them is a girl, and then wear pink color. Yes, yes, our ranger in my time look different to this. Really look different to this time. Also, this is start after the J-pop, and then we have K-pop. Anyone know? I don't know. Thai people pronounce their Jangkun. Thaiบอกว่า yes. So from that time, we love cooking. Yeah, we love cooking. We try a lot of Korean food at that time. I also follow. Dae Jangkun come every evening, weekday, every evening. I follow. I follow Dae Jangkun. I also like the plot and the costume. Very nice, and how she cook. Right. So here, this is just a example. Okay, just example. Now, in Thailand, we have want to do this one. So here, many people compare J-pop, Ocean, Ocean, and Dajanggum and Thai Love Destiny. Anyone watch Thai Love Destiny soap opera? It becomes series also movies, that we have the different version. Okay, different version, different plots, but there are some concept, common concept among the three. Let I may answer the question later. Okay, so this is the one. It's a love destiny, very famous, well known, not only in Thailand but other countries. I remember when this the first version. Now we have the second one. Now we have the second one already. The first one when I was in Chicago, and then we went to the Thai restaurant, and the Thai restaurant turned this on all the time, all the time. So a lot of people, even the American, love until they love watching it, eat Thai food and watch Thai soap in Thai restaurant. Yes, it's so nice. Now, cross, okay, to maybe your time a bit, maybe all of us know love of Siam. Siam, love of Siam. For us, we say Siam. Yeah, we say yeah. Can you play? This is a song that I like and nice. That very beautiful movie. Start of the what Thai people say citywide. Citywide. Other people say LTV. Okay, but we say citywide. Why we say citywide? Anyone know? Why we do why? Anyone know? Really? Oh my God. You know what? My sister, I asked her why citywide? And then she said, because she's a medical doctor. Then she said, oh, go chromosome,ไง chromosome X, chromosome X, and chromosome Y. But she's wrong. But she's wrong because my student in my class told me, Cru, it's from Jacob. Yeah, oi. It's from yeah, oi. Yes, it's from the word yeah, oi. That's why we call citywide. Yes, not chromosome Y. Okay. So, yes, that's the start that of the Y series, right? Y series. Next one. Next one. This is what you of course
เริ่มทำข้อสอบได้ครับ
นักเรียนดีเด่นม .1 ถึงม .3 แข่งขันต่อบปัญหาคณิตศาสตร์อันดับหนึ่ง
ไม่ต้องถามแล้วละมั้งคะ ว่าที่นี่เขาอยากจะรับน้องลินหรือเปล่า ต้องถามน้องลินมากกว่า อยากเรียนที่นี่ไหมคะ
นี่ขนาดเรียนพิเศษเป็นอาทิตย์แล้วนะ แม่งก็ยังไม่รู้เรื่องเหมือนเดิมอะ
ถ้าแกส่งคำตอบให้เราบ้างอะเราจะจ่ายให้แกวิชาละ 3,000 มีเพื่อนเราอีก 5 คน ซึ่งเทอมหนึ่งมันมี 13 วิชา
234,000 เราจะใช้เพลง4เพลง เป็นโค้ดแทนกอ ขอ
พอผิดหวังในตัวเธอมากเลยลิน เอาเข้าจริงๆเนี่ยพอไล่เธอออกได้เดี๋ยวนี้เลยนะ
แกรู้จักข้อสอบ STIC ใช่ปะ ก็เหมือนแกดแพดไว้ยื่นเข้ามหาลัยอเมริกา STIC จัดสอบวันและเวลาเดียวกันทั่วโลก แปลว่าประเทศฝั่งเนี้ยจะได้สอบก่อนประเทศอีกฝั่งที่เหลือ เราก็จะได้เห็นข้อสอบก่อน และยังสามารถส่งคำตอบกลับมาให้พวกแก แล้วคนที่จะเข้าสอบในไทยจำนวนกี่คนก็ได้
มึงจะเอาคำตอบออกมาจากห้องสอบได้ไง
วิธีที่ดีที่สุดคือการจำ มีอยู่คนเดียวที่น่าจะช่วยได้
จงบอกค่าพาย พร้อมเลขทศนิยมให้ได้มากที่สุด
ขอโทษนะ มึงเป็น X-Men เหรอ
ถ้าตกลง เราต้องทำอะไรบ้าง
เรากับแกต้องเดินทางไปสอบ STIC ที่ซิดนีย์ออสเตรเลียด้วยกัน
Okay, this is the one that students usually mention in class. Everything. This is one of the very yes. That genius. Now you may know Lisa. Okay, you may know Lisa. I know her because of student again. Yes. Okay. Just little one.
내 뒷모습만 봐도 알잖아 어두워질 때 분홍빛이 나 새하얀 조명이 날 깨우면 번쩍번쩍 세상을 흔들어 hey! What's my name? What's my name?
how J-pop, K-pop, or T-pop, or even
이를 하얗게 피운 채 시끄러운 감정을 태울래 burn burn burn
so even P-pop relate common concept. We share the thing that we really like. We share the thing that we really like. For Lisa period, we have BTS, right? BTS, we have 2 PM with Rich Kun, Rich Kun, Bam Bam, right? So these, they are Thai. They are Thai, but they join Korean and some join version of pop culture. We call fan meet. Anyone's fan meet here? You can join any fan meet concert. Yes, right? Yes, yes, yes. Nowadays, a lot of Thai singers, celebrities came here every month, Even in UP, what Thai band came to UP? You join? In the theater, you know the school president, that group. They even been here in UP concert. Yes, that's the first time. Now, this is what the last one that I want to show. This is what I do because I joined. I want to know what is fan meet. We have limited time, so what I'm gonna say here now. As you know, Thai community, Thai society, we are so conservative. We have a lot of do and don't etiquette, a lot of things. So conservative. But this family, it's the place that we express ourselves to be ourselves out loud. Even here in the Philippines, when I joined this family, oh, very loud. Oh, so I really feel, oh, this is how the young generation express themselves through the soft power or the pop culture that being through generation to generation. What I'm curious about, and maybe we can think about, we connect to each other in terms of this. But what is a common concept or common thing that we like, which is the same? That makes us together, like today, right? Interested in the same thing, K-pop, J-pop, P-pop, or P-pop, right? And other pop culture. Yeah, maybe we can think about that. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Ma'am Poy, and welcome to the fan. Actually, my Korean name is Pak Yong E because of Deja vu. So I can very well relate to your mistake. So, yeah, we can proceed now to Yuko Sensei's presentation. Thank you, Ma'am Poy.
Is it loud enough? Yes. Today, I want to talk about this culture because I believe that people's curiosity about different kind of food may be the catalyst for their acceptance of unknown culture. And I heard that Filipino people love food. So this is the country of the good loving people. And I love food. So I'm so happy to, yes, we love food. Happy to talk about food. Let's talk about food. By the way, food in Japanese is tabemono, right? So how about in Thai language? Oh, they have food in Thai. Then, oh, Kali. How about food in Korean? Pada estudiante, Yuki Diliman. So, to start with, this one. To start with together, let's look at some pictures. Maybe familiar with you? Are you familiar? Wow, arigato, yes. So, can you recognize that my soul is there in this picture? So, Japanese people's soul food is in this picture. What is it? Remembering and knowing onigiri, and now in other words, we also call it omusubi. Omusubi. Have you heard of this word? Omusubi? Not really. So you are familiar with onigiri because we can buy onigiri from 7-Eleven, right? That's my Korean Ganson's breakfast. so today, for this particular excuse and remember this new word for you maybe omusubi. Can you say that? Omusubi. So why omusubi? Okay, next. A little closer again, the same picture. It's a famous scene, right? This is a famous scene from a very well-known animation film. The title is Yes, Chihiro is the girl's name. It is a very impressive scene. Do you know what's happening there?
Anybody? Do you remember what's happening there? See, I have that all these animation by Studio Ghibli are now available through Netflix. So you can check tonight. What happened there, right? Are there any Ghibli fans here? Any Ghibli fans? Not really. So maybe I can ask you, there's what's happening there in this particular scene. Okay, so the boy wearing white is giving to Kuno some food because she got transported to another room. So he hasn't eaten for a minute. So so okay, so Haku is giving to Hiro, the girl is getting some food, the onigiri or umusubi, because she hasn't eaten for days. So while giving the food, Haku casts a spell on this umusubi. So sensei, the line over there is what he says. Go ahead, eat. You must be hungry. I put a spell on it to give you back your spell. Thank you, Bea-san. That's a beautiful scene. And he offered her Haku, this beautiful young man, offered her salt omusubi. Right? Yes, omusubi or onigiri, but let's call it omusubi for this particular occasion. So this Haku's handmade omusubi was salt musubi, shio musubi. We call it shio musubi. Shio means salt, musubi is rice ball. And it is wrapped in a bamboo leaf, just like that. He said that he had put a spell on the food to make her feel better. So here, as I just explained, onigiri and omusubi both are used as the names of four rice balls. But why I wanted to use omusubi for that particular scene? Anyone? Any idea? Actually, of course, yeah, the name of the word onigiri is more common and popular nowadays. But omusubi has particular historical meaning and nuance in it. So musu, what is musu? So named after God, Musuhi no Kami, who appears in Kojiki, Japan's oldest existing history book, which tells the very exciting story of the birth of the nation. So, musu means to produce. Musu means to produce. And I or B here in that particular kanji, you can see in the screen, is something spiritual, something you worship, or spiritual. So musu means to produce. So you may know Japanese speakers here the word like musuko or musume, right? Musuko or musume. So the origin of musuko meaning son, musume meaning daughter, are also this word musu, to produce, to be born. So musu means to born, and musuhi meaning, It's actually musubi. Musubi is musu from, you know the verb musubu, the act of tying, to tie. So it is interesting that it is also, musubi means to tie. So it means human to human connection. Maybe there's something, the answer, the question you posed, right? So musubi meaning production and human connection. So it's interesting that I'm going to show you this one. Isn't it cute? Almost like a shaped like a charm, amulet. I can say that this is from one of the shrines in Tokyo, Japan. They created this charm and sell them at the shrine. So omusubi is a food that is filled with wishes for the happiness of loved ones. Right? So this is probably why the omusubi made by mothers or grandmothers are extraordinarily, exceptionally tasty. That's my personal experience. Maybe you have the same experience. My lovely colleague from Japan, Yuta-san. Do you think your mom's onigiri is the best? your father's. The parents of Musubi are the best, and grandparents are the best. Okay, so according to the shrine's website, this particular lucky charm or amulet is good for human connections, work connections, fulfillment of one's wishes, creation of all things, and love. So if you want to give someone a handmade luck charm, why not make it in a shape of omusubi? Okay? And by the way, I'll just skip it. So, many people around the world, different people, maybe in the Philippines as well, would like to try food they have seen in Japanese anime. Right? So, how are you? So, but I'm happy to say that finding recipes is not difficult at all. There are many people who make so-called anime food from the anime as they are and share their recipes on platforms such as YouTube, etc. And as you see, this is the scene from another famous Japanese anime. Can you recognize this anime? Can you recognize the scene? Anybody? Not really? Those are, can you share, please? Arigato! What's happening in this picture? Maybe you guys can answer. I just found out you are the big Ghibli fan last week when we had a lunch. You telling me. Yeah. So what's happening in this picture?
So Tatsuki is preparing bento or lunch for Tatsuki, the kawaii Onodokoi picture is preparing lunch for her sister and father because her mother is currently in the hospital. So she took on the responsibility of preparing the lunch for her family.
Yeah, and please check it on Netflix. Find out. beautiful in preparing momentum for family. So, this is the YouTube channel by very popular Japanese lady, Japanese YouTuber. She loves, reproducing the anime food, including Ghibli's anime food. That is exactly the same obento you find in Tonai no Totoro. Yes. So and this is beautiful, very how to say sophisticated, but easy to understand Japanese, and the video is very nicely produced, so you might like to check it out. So story scenes such as anime and TV drama, films, are a source of inspiration for many Japanese language teachers, for ideas, for Japanese language and culture lessons. Also, students learn Japanese through a variety of field activities. And of course, we can talk about a little bit more about Obento. Obento, as you know, is not just a packed meal. It's something you can prepare with good food and your feelings, your love to somebody very, very important and special to you. So can you see that beautiful Obento? We believe that Obento, again, is not just a packed meal. This is something you can prepare, enjoy preparing for a particular occasion, for a particular person. So, in a way, food can be a real, very expressive tool for human-to-human communication. A little bit about food tourism. I get to know a lady who lives in Nara Prefecture, Asian capital of Japan. She lives in Nara in a very traditional Japanese house. She loves cooking, and she started to accommodating foreign visitors at her own residence for the experiencing Japanese cooking, Japanese obento, for example. And it's very interesting that she also provides obento cooking lessons online for people outside Japan. And so, of course, but I'm sure that if you go there in Japan, of course, eating your way around is fun. But this kind of food tourism is also a great way to experience Japanese culture, especially in that kind of Japanese home environment. So maybe your next Japanese trip plan might include that kind of experience, food tourism, type of experience. Okay. So this one is some relatively recently published Japanese language textbook. These materials focus on food culture. This is because food is a basic activity in life, our life, that everyone can relate to, and it is a very good theme for learning while having fun, right? So furthermore, as we pursue the theme of food, we can explore Japanese society from multiple perspectives, starting with ingredients, name of the food, cooking method, and then connecting it to various social themes such as geography, culture, history, media, health, labor, education, and gender even of their country. And lastly, Japan Foundation Manila, in my office, also some projects also focus on food content. So we believe that Filipino students here will enjoy new discoveries through food. And maybe my colleague from Japan Foundation Manila coordinator, there's some, you might like to add something for Japan for me.
Right, obligatory PR. No. So at the Japan Foundation Manila, we try to introduce culture through big events and small events. So one of our smaller events, or in a way, social media campaigns, is Japan for Me. So here we feature various establishments or products or brands that got inspired by Japanese culture. So we feature their stories. How did Japanese culture, your interest in it, help you come up with your brand, your food, your kind of product? So that's the time for you. And you can find all the Instagram lives and posts on our Facebook and JF Manila. So if you want to check out some good recommendations, check that out on our page. You can go there. Yes, I mean, we really hope that the students here, you will be exposed to the very living Japanese language and culture while making such enjoyable food discoveries. Thank you very much, Marie.
Thank you, Ma'am Yuko, the sensei. Yeah, now, I believe this is not the, best time to talk about food because of the lunch. But don't worry, just hang on. I can hear some stomachs growling with the beautiful food presentation we saw earlier. So, we have very tight time for discussion. So, we may be left with some few but still good questions for at least enhancement of our discussion for today. So from Poy's presentation, we saw how pop culture is very instrumental in the intersection, the connection, the encounters of Thai people, Filipino people, even Koreans and Japanese, at least in the experience, personal and I really admire also the personal, very personal touch of how from she was growing up until now trying fan meetings, and from Ma'am Yuko's presentation how we see food also as a very not just surface level learning of how Japanese food has been really influential also, not just I believe in the Philippines but the rest of the world, but also how we can also see yung the philosophy behind the preparation of food, which is really good also. So for today, just to deepen the conversation, what for also once in a while, Ma'am Ben might also jump in because we have also the Korean representation. What are some of your, Ma'am Boy and Ma'am Yuko, your distinctive observations of how Thai and Japanese cultural phenomena take place at least in the Philippines? So you've been teaching Japanese and Thai language and culture in the Philippines. How has it been in at least yung reception of the Filipino people, and how probably you can mention how our students have been primarily motivated in learning your language and culture, and how is it different, you think, when these are being taught here compared to when it is being taught in other parts of the world? Well, you can focus on how it is done here, or what are the some experiences that you may have had in teaching Thai and Japanese. That's very unique to the Filipino context. So some observations that you have. Maybe you can start with motivation. What's the top motivation aside from pop culture probably? By the way, whether thinking about their answers, one thing that's common in all for pop culture is the um, voice-over flowers being shown in all of these countries. So, the nature garden in Taiwan. And then here in the, well, at least in the Philippines, wala pa tayong adaptation. But all countries have adapted it from Korea to Thai in 2021 and also in Japan. Okay, so can you share some info or sharing? Yeah. So very distinct observation.
I will start with the beginning of my past and movie. We don't have many students at the beginning. I remember every time, every sem, when I start, I'm worried that my class will be dissolved. To be honest, because every time when I introduce myself, even me myself, my experience before when I just go here, I tell everyone, oh, I'm from Thailand, I'm Thai. Oh, you are a Taiwanese. Yes, you imagine that time, 2010, I start working in UP, same year with me from there. Yes, so from that time, not many students or not many people know the of culture of art. But after the COVID, during the COVID, things have changed. Really, things have changed. Even we do online, a lot of students, yeah, a lot of students. I was surprised and at the same time enjoying my class with the student that has some inspiration. Actually, the student who enroll my class are the students who enroll Japanese, Korean, Chinese, other languages before they move to that's the truth. So they have a lot of experience to share my class about the pop culture. At the beginning of the class, I let them fill out the survey while doing my class. Okay. And the most popular answer is I've been watching Thai series during the pandemic, and they want to understand what they're talking about. Then, even the subtitle they cannot, if it's in Thai or if it's in English, they have to wait. If it's subtitle in English, they have to wait a couple days or a week until it uploads so that they can watch. So they cannot wait. They cannot wait. So yeah, that's the first impression that actually not really of course series in general, but the one that really motivate students is the series one. DL series, like in country. DL series, very beautiful class because students show me, oh, you need to start with this one first. You need to start with this one first and then you move on to this story, this title. And I found it's Thai pop culture related to this series or movies and changed a lot. Comparing to or if we think about the society that we're not very open, really that much. But nowadays they express themselves, even have the celebrate the Violet Month, one Martin Walker's right? So in Bangkok, so things have changed, people open more. And that's how they start.
Series. Very Pinoy. Teleserye and Iwas. How about you, Mami?
Actually, my observation is very limited, and I'd like to invite teachers of Nihongo here to share their
With audience
observations.
participation tayo. Normal call mo ba? Pag representation na lang daw. Chris daw po. Final answer.
Motivation.
At least yung observation nila how Filipinos receptive
Of Japanese culture. I think it's been here for a long time, since well, 50s, 60s, 70s, right? Of course, my generation and before me, those who were older than me, we all know about Voltus 5. I just say that we're Daimos, and just say what we're some. You mentioned names like Richard and Eddie Cat, people will remember. And of course, when I started teaching as well, I entered the department the same year as Marius, 2010. And yes, it's been, yeah. And I always ask my students what made them take Japanese. And I said, if I can guess your motivations, you will have to drop the course. Because it's too obvious. So I would, you want to watch anime without subtitles. So that would be like 70% of the students. They would have to leave the class. And then some of them, they want to understand the Japanese music. And then, of course, the J-pop. And at the time, and then of course that would be fine with me. But if they're fans of Arashi, they also have to drop the course. No, so Arashi was a boy band in Japan. Of course, Japanese music very popular. But usually it was only in Japan that it was very big. But in some Asian countries, they started to gain more fans. And in the 2000s to like early 2010s, of course, Arashi was pretty big, and what other groups were there? Well, Arashi. And of course, because at that time it coincided with the Korean wave, the first wave of like really big Korean groups. And so now when I ask my students, I notice that their answers have also changed because not many people are raising their hands anymore. When I asked them they wanted anime, not really. They wanted the Japanese songs. They like Korean more. And I asked them, what did you watch? Sometimes in class, I ask them when they know how to speak some verbs already. Nanyo mimashita ka? Nanyo mimasu ka? K-drama. All right. So now there's more for tourism. I noticed that they want to go to Japan, and visit the temples or the shrines or Akihabara, Huh? Yeah, Monkey pa rin. That's still a budding group, no? It's what they call the VTubers or virtual YouTubers who do some live streams on YouTube or Twitch, right? And they use an avatar, right? So it's actually I did watch something. Do you have 2 hours? No, I can talk. Thank you. But anyway, but then of course in the university, I did notice that there were also students who just took Japanese because they needed the units, which for me was like very troubling. That's true though. We can't lie that you're taking the course because you will receive units. But aside from that, it has to be value added. So I always worry about that. So I ask my students, I require them to listen to J-pop. I require them to listen to Japanese music, talk about Japan in our classes, but not directly. Like I give them like certain tasks to do that. And but yeah, I think anime has become a bit more ubiquitous, and so some people are okay with just reading subtitles, so they're not as strong as before that then the anime come out really quickly now, so it's almost like simulcast in Japan. You don't even have to wait a week, unlike before we had to wait weeks, for the translations for the subs. Maybe the fact will be the same for K-pop and Thai pop culture. In the future, we don't have to wait a week anymore, for yes. Yes. So that's how we've seen it. And thank you very much.
Thank you for the active participation. We have now a respected speaker for the next K culture, probably next topic also. Okay, for our next question, time has been really fast. How do you think Thai or Japanese culture play any role in in boosting Japan's studies and language education in the current times in the Philippine, at least in the Philippine society. So how, especially with what you have discussed, food or pop culture, and more so at least in day-to-day living, how would these how do you see this boosting Japanese and Thai studies here in the Philippines? Or do you think of any other things that would at least add more interest, value to learning your languages here in the Philippines?
I see that there's of course before we learn, we have motivation to learn Thai, Japanese, Chinese, or other languages. Students come to our class maybe because of the pop culture or soft power from other countries. But once they in the class, it was also. So through the language, they can learn more on other fields that related to the concept, not only Thai concept, but Asian concept, the Asian concept. That make them do more. Like nowadays we have students who graduate from UP and then UMA in Thailand. They want to learn more. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, real setting. Also, I noticed how even what I presented at the beginning, you can see the K-pop, or even Chinese pop, we have the P-pop, we related to each other, not only one above and then go down. Even in Thai nowadays, in Thai South Korea or Series, we have a lot of K-plot. Same plot, but just Thai celebrity. The thing is, even it's the same series, we still see the difference. Yeah, we still see the difference. At the beginning, poster, we can see, oh, this is Thai, this is J-pop, this is Japanese, this is Korean, this is Chinese. From the scene that we see. Only, so what I think that how we be strong. Actually, not only our region now, other side of the world, they follow us in terms of this, right? Two things that I observed. First, we have creative content. Right? We have creative content which we not really copy 100%, right, to each other. Yeah. Second, it related to the first. We adapt from others to our or I can say local, or local with the same concept, but how we showcase this is Thai, this is Korean, this is Japanese, this is Chinese, or even Filipino. And that make us strong in terms of that and make us motivate other not only inside the region.
Thank you, Makoy. How about you, Sensei?
I said, this is the answer. I said, this is the answer.
Some more fun.
To, learn together, discuss together, and having fun. This is really prospect. And I'd like to see more of this kind of.
Wow. Thank you, Ma. Wow. For those who really excited for giving spaces like this. Yeah. We don't have time for questions, ma'am, no? Tama ba? Yeah. Unfortunately. So to wrap this up, before we recognize our speakers by giving them our certificates and having a photo of them. Is there any burning questions in the house? You have? Wow.
To introduce my soul through this presentation, I want to ask,
Miss Bear. Yes.
their soul.
Oh, okay. So to wrap this up, because everybody's hungry anyway, let's wrap. With what is your soul food, ma'am?
Very quickly, my mom is from Gyeongsang province. Gyeongsang is the southern coast, and then but I was born in Seoul, so my household has this southern coast culture, and they still speak the dialects from that region. And then when I was young, she would cook with bean sprout and some leftover kimchi, and then she would cook like porridge, which is called in their dialect gaemshigi. And then whenever she cooked gaemshigi, I hate it because it's like piggy porridge because it's all the leftover bits and bits. But so strangely, when I was in my late 20s and then 30s, I strangely missed it so much. And then when I came to the Philippines, because I'm now a migrant in the Philippines, it somehow added more nostalgic taste. So I think I never thought it was my soul food, but whenever I see bean sprout from the Korean grocery, because toge is so easy to look for, but bean sprout, the thicker one, is very hard to look for here. So whenever I see it, I grab like 2 or 3 packs and then I cook sometimes. So I cannot really cook like my mom does, but I think it is secondly my soul food, and maybe when I get older, it will add more, maybe more years. Yeah, yeah.
How about you, Ma'am Poy?
Okay, just simple on what I like is still Thai food. Still Thai food. I usually cook Thai omelets. Easy lang. The food for our family. When I don't have time, I just do it. Thai omelet, but my omelet is special. It's special because I got this recipe from my mom and dad. Yeah. My mom and dad, they cook together with this dish and they blend it. They're the one who get this recipe. Our Thai omelet is different to other omelet.
Yes.
Yes.
Unique.
Unique. Also, we put basil. Yeah. Yeah, I like basil. I put basil with all the food I cook.
I think everybody will look for either a Korean, Thai, or Japanese lunch for today or probably dinner. Let's give a hand again to our
recently had some birthday, or